Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Charleston, South Carolina, the site for this Week 14 matchup between the Carolina Skyhawks and the Charleston Predators. I am the play-by-play, Nate Hall, and alongside me for this call this evening is none other than Alden Bleeker. And Alden, this season is wrapping up in the final week of the regular season, and for Carolina, they're looking for a win to keep their slim hopes of being in the playoffs alive, while Charleston is just looking to end the season on a high note. Both teams coming off of losses last week. However, both teams looking for dubs. What are you looking for tonight in this one?
Well, Fort Moultrie, one of our nation's great national parks, just a hop and a skip away in the Charleston Harbor, and it's going to be a case of Charleston needing to hold down the fort here tonight. Look, Carolina know that even if they win, they've got to have some of the chips fall their way. But that is what they're going to be focusing on, is getting this win and controlling the things they're able to control. And I think for Carolina, you're looking at them trying to take control of this game and take control of their destiny.
And excuse me, I had said that both these teams lost last week. However, Carolina did come off a dub last week over Indianapolis, a 23-13 win over Indianapolis last week. They're trying to make it 2 straight to keep these playoff hopes alive as we're getting set for kickoff here in Week 14. And Carolina coming out in their all-gray uniforms for the away. And Charleston, the home team, in their all-reds, has the ball on the tee. Kicker Brad Bretchett has this thing on the tee, getting set to kick it off. And the run up to the tee, and we are underway here in Charleston. Returning from about the 2-yard line. Right up the middle, looking for some blockers, but not going to be there, and gets tackled at about the 21-yard line. And the offense for Carolina comes onto the field. Let's introduce you quickly to the Carolina offense. Matt South, under center at quarterback. Sunu Nakai at halfback. Hattori Hanzo at fullback. Wide receivers are Sam Avalis, Tony Zoma, and Harish Prasad. Tight end is Vince DeSantis. And the left guard anchored by Rylan Caudill. Carolina starts with trips to the top of the screen on first down. Looking back to throw is Matt South. Looking off to the left, has his receiver. And a good game, about 5 yards on first down, as he has the fullback, Hattori Hanzo, for a gain of 5.
Yeah, and that has been one of the perhaps bright spots for Carolina is Matt South. Last week went 30 for 39, 249 yards and a touchdown. They're going to be looking for a similar performance out of him today.
They are 4th in passing overall on the season, averaging just over 253 yards a game, as this one is handed off on the ground. First rushing attempt for the game for the halfback, Sunu Nakai. Has a big opening on that left-hand side, all the way up to the 38-yard line. Big gain for the first down.
Yeah, and put on an athletic move, put his man in the spin cycle there. I mean, that is just really one of the things that you can do with your speed at this level as a halfback.
3 wide now as the first and 10. Hands the ball off once again to Sunu Nakai. Pseudo looking for some holes on that left-hand side. Gets about a 2-yard gain. Going to be a 2nd and 8 coming up for this offense.
Well, and we saw, Pseudo Nakai can really do a lot with a little bit of space, but just nowhere opening up for him there.
They go split backs in the backfield this time for the 2nd and 8 play. They like to use the fullback and halfback equally in the rushing game as they hand the ball off this time. Looks like to the fullback, Hattori Hanzo. He finds a gain of about 3 yards right up the middle, set up a 3rd and 5 here. And as I was saying, they do like to use the halfback and fullback equally for this team. Coming into this game, Pseudo has 129 carries compared to Hattori Hanzo's 131, so just about equal in the ground game on carries. Now 3rd and 5 from the 44-yard line. Hands the ball off to Sunu Nakai. Spin move, right up the middle. Makes the person miss and gets the first down up to midfield.
Yeah, and a dangerous proposition for Charleston as he just finds a little bit of space and really only one defender between him and open territory there. A good job reacting by Charleston.
1st and 10. Carolina, driving on their first drive of the ball game. Now at midfield, 3 wide. And once again, single back in the backfield is Pseudo Nakai. Matt South taking his time, getting the snap off, hands the ball off to Pseudo, and that's going to be a loss of a yard on the play. Tackle made on the play by John Lawley. Let's introduce you quickly to this Charleston defense. Thomas Matthews, John Lawley, Mar Rivers, and Robert Cherry along the front defensive line. Ace Singletary, Kevin Brackett, Jack Brown, and Eric Hammer are the linebackers. Eric Hammer coming off a 12 tackle day last week. Jacob Clear, Mark Martin, Sam Blonder are the corners. Ricky Thornton and John Semengo are the safeties. And a nice throw by Matt South over to the left-hand side. Finds the receiver. That's going to be Harish Prasad, if that's going to be a first down.
Yeah, and we saw there, look at Matt South using the pump fake. Almost everyone on that first level of the secondary bites, and it just opens up Harish Prasad in the middle of the field. That is just a great job setting up a play and executing it by this young quarterback.
I formation now on 1st and 10 from the Charleston 35-yard line. Charleston comes out in a 4-3. Handoff to Student Akai, right up the middle, looking for some holes. Has the lane, but gets tackled after a gain of 5. Looks like he got gypped a couple of yards, but they'll give him a gain of 5 down to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really sort of the split attack that we're seeing here so far from Carolina. You know, they know Matt South is such a reliable passing option, and they're trying to use it to set up Pseudo Nakai and Hattori Hanzo here.
Power I formation on 2nd and 5. Hand off to Pseudo Nakai. Goes off tackle to the right-hand side and gets another gain of 5 or 6 yards. And Pseudo Nakai looks like the game plan so far for Carolina has been to hand the ball off and hand it off often, and it's been working to perfection so far on this drive.
Yeah, and there's sort of a jazziness to it. You know, they're you know, going offbeat, you know, run, mixing it up with the pass every now and then, and it's gotten them quite far down the field here.
Getting the ball off this time to the fullback. Nothing doing on that play. Just back to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be Kevin Brackett. And on the tackle, his first tackle of the day.
Yeah, and man, that is really a trend that we're going to have to watch, with Pseudo Nakai being such a big part of the offensive game plan for Carolina. You know, are Charleston going to be able to sort of plug up the middle here?
Offset I formation now on 2nd and 10. Hands the ball off to Pseudo, looking for some more blockers, but Kevin Brackett there once again to tackle him down in the open field. Only a gain of about 4, bringing up 3rd down from the 20 as they try to enter into the red zone.
Yeah, man, Pseudo Nakai got run over there, but again, it's an instance of Charleston, you know, really capitalizing on their last chance to prevent him from getting into truly open space.
They go empty set here. That's going to be a free play for Carolina. Pump fake over the right-hand side. Tipped up in the air and dropped to the ground. Incomplete. Looked like that was tipped up in the air by Mark Martin and John Stamango, but neither one of them could come up with it. It's not going to matter. Free 5 yards.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 77. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 3rd down.
Number 77. That is the backup defensive end, Stephen Bunnell, the second. Not sure why the backup was in on that play. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I didn't see any injuries. However, he was the one to jump off sides on that penalty, giving the free 5 yards and bringing up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, well, you saw, you know, the secondary was pretty clearly loaded there. I think maybe it's just a case of more focus on the secondary there than the front line.
Power I formation on 3rd and 1. Hands ball off to Sundakai, and why not? He's been the workhorse on this drive, but this time he's not going to go anywhere as that defense was ready on that play. Mar Rivers coming in for the tackle for loss. And that's going to set up a field goal attempt by Whistle Jones for Carolina to get the Carolina offense on the board.
Well, and this is a great job of adaptation by Charleston. Perhaps a little late. Oh, and they're going for it.
Oh, let's see if they snap this.
I like
It'd be
this.
interesting
I like
if they
this.
do. Let's see if they snap it here on 4th and 2, or if they try to bait Charleston to jump off sides. They got 10 on the play clock. They called timeout already. Wow, that was early to call timeout.
We're working the hard count there, I suppose.
Well, usually if you're working a hard count, they let that thing run down to at least under 5 seconds on the play clock. But
Yeah,
that was 10.
That was interesting clock management, we'll say, to be diplomatic about it.
Well, nonetheless, that's going to bring out Whistle Jones, who last week went 3 for 4. It was a big part of the reason why Carolina went out with a 10-point win in last week's game over Indianapolis. This one will be about 32 yards out from the left hash. The snap's down, the kick is up by Jones, and the kick is good. So that'll be the first point of the game for Carolina. They go up early, 3-0.
Yeah, and like we were saying before we got interrupted by that looked like they were going for it. You know, it's a great job adapting by Charleston. You know, they saw that Sudo Nakai was becoming such a big part of the offense and just doing a great job to plug up the middle. You know, on the instances where he does manage to find space in the middle or on the outside, they're getting to him. And you know, you saw what happened there. They bent, but they didn't break.
The return is brought from about a couple of yards deep into the end zone. Return up the left-hand side. Looks like that was returned by Saren Storm. And we'll see the offense for Charleston come out on the field for the first time. Let's introduce you quickly to the Charleston offense. Kentez Johnson under center for the Charleston Predators. Keith Swearingen, the workhorse under the halfback position. Terrell Sarlin, the fullback. Christopher Ochoa, Saren Storm, and Davius Freed are the wideouts. Dusty Rourke is a tight end, and Dusty Wilson, the left guard, and Damian Robichaud is the right guard. And the ball off to Keith Swearingen and breaks a couple of tackles and gets all the way up to the 34-yard line before he's tackled there for first down.
Man, and that is some supreme toughness. I mean, what was that, 2 or 3 tackles that he just rode out? And look at this great block up front that sets it all up, puts one in the spin cycle, and he rides that tackle out for a good 2 or 3 yards. My goodness, what an impressive display of athleticism.
And Keith Swearingen, who last week was over 100 yards in their loss to Minnesota, had 101 yards rushing and a touchdown. Looking to be the workhorse today. However, Johnson back to throw, gets it out to Swearingen, and is going to be tackled for a 1-yard loss after that catch was made out in the flats.
And this is something that really Carolina can do really well. They have such a good secondary when they're all working together. Ricky Thornton, top 10 in interceptions.
Back to throws, Johnson deep, right hand side, wide open, right to Saren Storm, all the way past midfield to the 44-yard line. Saren Storm got behind the defense over there by that right sideline and made him pay and got the big first down.
Yeah, and this is again what we're seeing. You know, Carolina have a really great secondary. That's one of their bigger strengths on defense, but just a good job of placing the ball at the very head of that route, and it is good enough to get past the secondary there.
Carolina with a 1st and 10 from the 44. Gets ball off to Keith Swearingen, trying to find some room on that right-hand side. Gets about 4 yards, and that's about all she wrote on that right-hand side, as that is going to be a tackle made by the linebacker Siobhan Prasad after a gain of 4. Let's introduce you quickly to the Carolina defense. Ryan Ray, Christopher Colon, Bobo Caudill, and Phil Hall along that defensive front. Clint Hendershot, Danny Stinson, and Siobhan Prasad are the linebackers. We'll get to the rest of them here in a moment, as Swearingen tries to make a spin move and brings up a 3rd and 2. To round out the rest of the defense, Tristan Hatley, Skippy Curtis, and Davison Joseph are the corners. Monty White, the free safety, Kane Vasquez, and Lincoln Casey are the strong safety. And here is a 3rd and 2 coming up after a nice run. 3rd and 2 with 2 backs in the backfield. 2 wide to the bottom of the screen. Hands the ball off to Swearingen. That's going to be a broken tackle. And gets a few extra yards inside the 30-yard line down to the Carolina 27-yard line. Tough running inside by Keith Swearingen.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, Keith Swearingen just refusing to go down there and gets around that. It looks like he almost broke that second tackle before the assist came in. So just a great job of using his athleticism this entire drive. You know, almost 10 yards per average so far here.
Back to throw is Johnson, but he's running out of time, and he's going to go down for the sack. A loss of 8 yards on the play. Ryan Ray comes in for the big tackle for loss, and the sack-a-rooney back in the backfield.
Yeah, and you see there just the pressure coming in so fast. Really no chance for the offensive line to establish a pocket. And, oh, man, it's second and a country mile to go here.
Back under center goes Johnson with the I formation. Throws it out there in the flash to Swearingen does Johnson, and Swearingen gets a few extra yards after the catch inside the, we're going to call it down right at the 30, but it's still going to bring up a 3rd and long after that big sack on 2nd down, brings up a 3rd and 12. 3rd and 12, trips to the top of the screen. Look for one of those receivers to get a target here at least on this 3rd down play if he can get it off. Johnson back to throw, and that's going to be completed off to the top of the screen. That's going to be completed out to Christopher Ochoa. That's the 1st down to the Carolina 11. I saw that trips formation at the top of the screen there, Alden, and I knew it was going to go to one of them, and it did. Ochoa with the reception.
Yeah, and man, look at this. A missed tackle here. That would have gotten the stop, I believe, but just continuing to power on past the sticks because of the missed tackle. A great job using the athleticism to make the miss happen there.
So that is going to set up a 1st and 10. Great scoring position now for Charleston inside the red zone now from the 11-yard line. Looking to get their first score of the game with the first drive of their possessions. Back to throw is Johnston, looking to throw out there in the flats to Swearingen, but he's going to run out of bounds after a loss of 2 yards. I think that throw from Johnson just led Swearingen out a little bit too far, and he didn't have it left green grass to keep going forward.
Yeah, man, that was so close. That was very close to being a huge play for Carolina. Or for Charleston, for Carolina. Or for Charleston, excuse me.
Charleston back in the gun. Johnson, that's completed. And they're going to say he's down at the 1, just enough for the 1st down as that catch was made once again by Ochoa, this time over a slant pattern over the middle.
Yeah, and it's really been the passing this drive that has opened things up for Charleston. Again, just the routes creating space for the receivers.
And they're coming out in a gun formation for Johnson, even though they're inside the 1, and that's going to be tipped up in the air and incomplete. I thought that might be dangerous as Clinton Hendershot came in with the tip drill, but it falls to the turf and incomplete. I would think that from inside the 5 and definitely down at the 1, they just hand this ball off to Swearingen and just let him run it in, but they try to throw it instead.
Yeah, somewhere in the world, Pete Carroll just broke out into a flop sweat, and he doesn't know why.
And here we go. This is what I like to see. I formation from the 1. 2nd and goal for Charleston. Hands the ball off to Swearingen, trying to find a hole, but nothing is there. Carolina was ready as he only gets back to the line of scrimmage. And that was a quick moving first quarter as we got a score of 3-0. Carolina with the early lead. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. As we bring you back in to Charleston, South Carolina here with Charleston with a 3rd and goal from the 1. Trying to get a score here. Back to throw is Johnson. Out there in the flash to Swearingen. Spin move, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. Looks like Clint Hendershot had him out there dead to rights to get the stop at the 1. But a nice little nifty spin move, and he's in for 6 points.
And it's really a continued theme that we're seeing, these broken tackles. I mean, like you say, one-on-one, and it looks like this tackle is going to, man, puts him not just in the spin cycle, but in the blender. My goodness.
So Swearingen makes him pay on Charleston's first drive of the game for their offense. We've been through a whole quarter. It's not very often you've seen a game where each team has only had the ball for 1 possession, as that kick by Brad Bretchett is up and good. Each of these offenses has had the ball for 1 possession, and we've already played a quarter and 4 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's gonna lead to potentially very interesting, second quarter and second half of this game, as both of these teams are very content to take their time on offense here so far.
Kick is away and going to be returned from about the goal line. Up to the right hand side, looking for some blockers, and that's going to get tackled at about the 23-yard line. And Carolina will start their next possession from there, as Tony Zoma is doing the return duties for Carolina. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan and fantasy, as this handoff is made to Pseudo Nakai, and he's going to look for some room, but find minimal as he gets a 4-yard gain off to the right-hand side to bring up 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and to your point about both of those, both teams only having one possession in the first quarter, both teams on their scoring drives had 14 plays total. So it's going to create some interesting clock situations later on in the game.
Bringing the ball off once again to Sunu Nakai. He was the workhorse on the first drive. You're looking to keep him warmed up here on the second as he gets a handoff and gets another 3 yards to set up a 3rd and manageable 3rd and 3. They'll call it from the 29 as he gets another carry. Third and 3 now from the 29. Offset I with 2 wide to the bottom of the screen. Back to throw. And looking for his receiver. He's got one over by the sideline. A nice tiptoe drill over there by Harish Prasad for nice reception and a gain of a 1st down out to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, and Harish Prasad has been one of the bigger options for Matt South here tonight, and Matt South, to his credit, 4 for 4 on that pass.
South, perfect on the day so far, as you stated. Hands the ball off this time to Sunu Nakai and gets 3 yards on that carry. And looks like they're content to hand the ball off to Sunu Nakai as much as possible. And as long as he gets carries of 3 to 4 yards per carry, looks like they will net a 1st down pretty often here, as long as they can keep that pace up.
Yeah, I'm not...
2nd and 7 now for Carolina, but this time he's going to get bottled up and not go anywhere. Maybe a gain of 2 on the play. 3rd and 5 coming up for the offense.
Well, as I was getting ready to say, I'm not that great at math, but I'm pretty sure 4 plus 4 plus 4. I'm pretty sure that's more than 10. So, like you say, if this is something that they can keep doing, it's something that is certainly gonna help them on offense here.
Whoa, what a nice catch made by the receiver over the middle that time, as South finds his receiver over the middle, Tony Zoma, with a nice one-handed grab to get that 1st down to move the chains.
And not just a great job of catching it, but to hold on to it and get across the line there. I mean, it's a great job of limiting his carry there.
Styles looking deep this time, left-hand side, reception made to the 32-yard line. And once again, actually, that's going to be the first reception, I believe, by Sam Avalis this time for a big gain down to the left side.
Yeah, man, and again, it's just Matt South finding the available option on the outside and making things easy for his receivers. As good as they've been, he is putting things on a rope for them to just sort of pluck out of the air like a laundry line.
Matt South perfect again, once again on this. Oh, well, he's got to get under pressure and a big sack as John Lawley gets the sack right up the middle. Nice. Oh, just shoved that boy out of the way. Let me get to the quarterback and let me get him down for a big sack way back inside the 45-yard line.
Yeah, and it's a similar situation to the sack that we saw on the other side of the ball, where the pocket, had an opportunity to be collapsed in this particular instance, or had an opportunity to be established, but it just eventually collapsed, and just the edge rushing coming through.
Put up a 2nd and 20 now for Carolina, but that reception is made, and they're going to get a big chunk of that yardage back as they get the reception made by Sam Avlis to the right-hand side, gain of 13 yards. So they're going to get that 10 back plus 3 more as they got the trips formation going once again. We saw that play before on their first drive that netted a big gain, and they got the play going again to Sam Avlis this time for a nice gain of 13.
Yeah, and that's really how they've designed this passing offense here so far tonight, is just to create multiple opportunities for Matt South, and that's really one of his strengths as a quarterback, is his decision making. It's really netted a lot of dividends for them.
This could be bad for Charleston. They came out 4-3, but they got empty backfield. But they were disciplined back there by the safeties as they were looking for Sam Avlis. And that is going to be a bat down by Mark Martin, the corner, actually, to get good coverage back there on the play to knock that one down and bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and it was very similar to a pass we saw earlier in this game. Matt South going for the pump fake, but unlike the previous attempt where the entire secondary seems like a bit, like you say, a good job staying disciplined and keeping your eyes on the ball there.
Whistle Jones to come out, and this one's going to be from 46 yards out from the right hash this time. Jones gets the kick away, no pressure on it, and gets it up and through. So that brings the score to within 1 for Carolina. Still down by a point, but they've got to be happy with points on that drive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I do think it's maybe a little bit in their minds that, both of these teams have had very long drives to start off each quarter here. 14 plays for Carolina, 14 plays for Charleston, and then that was 11 plays for Carolina. So we'll have to see if it's another long drive for Charleston. Like we say, it could create some interesting situations in the late game.
This return is brought up to about the 27-yard line by Saren Storm, and the Charleston offense will get set to go from there as their offense comes out onto the field. The SFL network is coming to the ESTV Plus app. 24/7 SFL programming will include content created by the community, the SFL's greatest games from the archives, exclusive content, network content, and live SFL regular season games. Download the ESTV Plus app on your Android or iPhone, or on your TV through Roku, Amazon Fire, Vizio, and more. The SFL network, where SFL creators come together. That handoff is made this time to Swearingen, but he's not going to go anywhere. Clint Hendershot is having a big game so far through the first half.
Yeah, exactly, and that really has been sort of typical of his game so far here today.
Back in the gun is Johnson on 2nd and 11 after that tackle for loss is made by Hendershot. Back to throw, plenty of time. Looking deep over the middle. That's going to get picked off. Picked off over the middle by, looked like that was going to be Monty Wyatt, who last week had 2 interceptions in their win over Indianapolis. He gets his first one tonight, just playing center field, and comes away with a pick.
Yeah, and man, talk about your eyeball interceptions there. Just realizes where the pass is going to get there, and realizes that he can beat the receiver to it, and they're in great field position on top of everything else.
The first mistake made by either team tonight. We'll see if that comes back to bite Charleston on this pursuing drive by Carolina, as that handoff is made to the fullback this time. Hattori Hanzo gets 3-yard gain up the middle.
Well, it's, as we say with these, with these games that tend to have long possessions and tend to sort of breeze by. It's these small differences, these small opportunities to score that tend to make the difference.
Back to throws, Matt South over the middle, got a window and finds a receiver. That's Sam Avlis once again for a nice gain of about 12 up to the 31-yard line of Charleston, and a nice gain to set them up with a nice gain up to scoring position. First and 10 from the 31-yard line. Matt South back to throw. Looking over to the left, but that's going to be a big hit to jar the ball loose. Looking for the fullback on that one, but the defender was there with a big hit to knock the ball down incomplete.
Yeah, and big pressing defense by Charleston here, responding to that pick, trying to get one of their own.
Second and 10 from Charleston's 31-yard line. Two backs in the backfield, but it's going to go back to throws is Matt South. Is going to find another receiver over the middle, and I believe that's Sam. Nope, that's going to be Harish Prasad again over the middle. That's going to be his third reception of the game already.
Yeah, and man, Harish Prasad is just finding the most unlikely places on the field to make these catches.
3 receptions for 32 yards already through a quarter and a half of play as they hand the ball off this time to the fullback Hanzo once again, but that's going to be a gain of nothing on that play as the linebacker Eric Hammer lays the hammer down and not allowing him to go anywhere with that tackle. Second and 10 from the 20-yard line. Hands the ball off to Sundakai, looking for some room, but the defense was well disciplined on that play, as that is going to be, looks like number 56, the defensive end Thomas Matthews, with a nice tackle for loss to bring up a 3rd and long on this next play. Third and 11 from the 21-yard line. Back to throw is South, looking deep, left-hand side. That's a touchdown for Carolina, as that is Harish Prasad that got behind the defense, beat the cornerback, beat the free safety back there, Ricky Thornton, and finds 6 points in the back corner of the end zone.
And that is really just a case of patience paying off for Matt South. I mean, he's really done everything that you reasonably could ask of him so far tonight, and he has yet to put a touchdown on the board. 10 yards per average, and finally gets it into the end zone there.
4 receptions for 56 yards, and that touchdown catch caps off a beautiful drive that was set up by that interception off that errant throw by Kentez Johnson. And with that extra point made by Brad Bretchett, they go up by a score of 13-7.
Yeah, and it really sort of resets the momentum of this game, you know, as we've been talking about, you know, these long possessions early in the game, creating a possible situation where you only have a few attempts to score. So Carolina getting the interception, getting the lead back, and now they're in a commanding position.
Charleston will do their best to take care of the ball with this next drive as they start from the 25-yard line on this pursuing drive. The SFL Weekly Fantasy Contest is officially up and running. Think you draft the best team every week while staying under the salary cap? Or maybe you just want to enhance your SFL experience? Free to play, no season-long commitment, and a new contest opens every week on Tuesday night. Join now and show off your fantasy skills to the rest of the league. Contact Jack Wall, Stephen Hacker, or Hunter Norwood to join today. Kentez Johnson back to throw, deep, left-hand side, trying to get back all at once. He finds a man, looking for the corner of the end zone, 20, all the way down to the 18-yard line. He had one man to beat as he got, looks like, the tight end, Dusty Rourke, all the way over the middle on a nice streak pattern.
Oh.
Yeah, just beat the defender, had one man to beat. That man was going to be Davidson Joseph, but Joseph with a touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah, and a great job to even catch up with him. But oh my goodness, these teams are speeding things up. I think they realize that they have to.
Dusty Rourke, the only female member of this squad, so her nice catch by her on that play. As that run is going to be made by Keith Swearingen, and what a two-play drive to respond to that last touchdown scored by Carolina. as blocking was made on that right-hand side by Terrell Sutherland, the fullback, and that's all she wrote. Touchdown, Keith Swearingen.
Man, and that's really the thing about these games that start a little slow. Sometimes you can rest on your laurels a little bit, but a great job by Charleston to recognize that was perhaps happening, and just it's boom, boom, long pass, great run, and this is the pendulum is swinging back once again towards Charleston.
Brad Brescia with the extra point that is up and through. And just like that, Charleston takes back the 1-point lead that they once had not even 30 seconds plus ago, and they get it back just like that, up 14-13. Brad Brescia with the ball on the tee. And we're back underway with the return made from about a couple yards deep in the end zone. Looking for a hole up to the left-hand side, but nothing there for Tony Zoma. And I'm sorry, that's Sarah's. Yeah, Tony Zoma, I was right. And that drive's going to start from the 20-yard line. The SFL produces over 400 live events each year, but don't miss community content creators and their creations. Tuesday, October 11th, join Dave Axis and the Axis Live crew as the show returns for a special Season 19 playoff preview show. To check out archived versions of community shows, visit Simulationfl.net and click the logo of your favorite form of the SFL entertainment on our homepage. As that handoff was made by Suno Nakai, and that was a nice gain of 7 off to that left-hand side.
And Sudo Nakai has really disappeared for a while, so I think we're gonna see Carolina try to mix him back in here.
2nd and 3 from the 27. I was thinking they might pass it, but they're gonna look to hand it off again to Sudo Nakai, and he does gain the first down up to the 31-yard line with just enough room to get that first down gain.
Yeah, and it really does help your confidence when you've been cooled off a little to just get 1 or 2 big plays here.
And we've reached a 2-minute warning here in Charleston. Carolina, looking to get a drive going. You're watching the SFL presented by AP Music on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Nate Hall and On Bleecker here with you on the call this evening. Just reside in Jack Brown on the stat truck tonight. Thank you, gentlemen, for the work you're doing behind the scenes to get the stats together for us this evening, as that handoff is made and is going to be tackled right there by Mar Rivers after a gain of 1 on the play to bring up 2nd and 9.
Well, Matt Smith has really been one of the bright spots here for Carolina, and I think it's looking like a pass play here.
Back to throw up from Matt South, looking over the middle, but a nice hit by the secondary, and that is going to be knocked down and incomplete. Ricky Thornton with a nice hit on Sam Avalis to jar that ball loose. Jack Brown might have been in on that hit as well, but I think most of it was made by Ricky Thornton on that hit. And Thornton, who had 2 interceptions in last week's loss to Minnesota, comes in with a nice jarring hit.
Yeah, and a great job by the Charleston secondary to, by the Carolina secondary, Charleston secondary, to react to that.
Empty backfield for Carolina for 3rd and 9. Back to throw is Matt South running out of time, but wow, we don't see that very often. A nice at-home play made by the wideout. That's going to be the backup wideout, Travis Warren. Right place, right time, but it's going to go for no gain. Looked like that just popped up in the air after the hit made by one of the defenders, but no harm, no foul, as brings up 4th down.
Yeah, that was something you'd see if the Harlem Globetrotters played football. That was truly something I can say I've seen for the first time.
We'll see how aggressive Charleston chooses to be on their ensuing offensive possession as Carolina looks to run some clock down off this punt. There was a little bit of pressure on that one, but he does get it off. Does the punter Malone Brown, and this return is going to be made by Saren Storm up to the 39-yard line, and with 34 seconds and all 3 timeouts, I think Alden, we might see him be a little bit aggressive, try to take the lead. I'm sorry, to try to extend this lead before the halftime break.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think. I mean, you know, they have the confidence knowing that they got that quick 1-2 punch to get a touchdown last drive, and you know, like you say, looking for the same result here.
They hand the ball off, however, to Swearingen. A couple of spin moves for a gain of 6 yards.
Clock.
Yeah, they're gonna go hurry up here, though. I don't know if this is a play to go hurry up in, but we're gonna see what they do here on 2nd down. Hand the ball off again to Swearingen. 3rd and 3 coming up.
No timeout being called.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Another handoff's going to be made to Swearingen, and he's going to get tackled. And I think they're just going to let the clock run out before they punt it. They will do so. 2-1, and we are at the half here in Charleston, South Carolina, after a bizarre few plays to close out the first half. But after an exciting first half of play and a quick moving one, brings the score 14-13. Charleston with a 1-point lead. And as we set the ball up on the tee and Charleston gets set to go here in the second half, Alden, what are your thoughts on the first?
Well, it's really hard to sort of pick out a distinction between these two teams. They both have had a lot of success on offense. They've had some success controlling things on defense. But I think really one of the big things to look at here is Charleston, although they've had long drives, they only have 7 minutes of possession in terms of total time here in this game. So I think you're going to see Charleston try to hold on to the ball for longer and sort of milk the clock. You know, if they could go up by another score and then get the ball back and do the same thing 2 times, I mean, they could very easily take a decent lead into the 4th quarter that way.
See what Charleston does here with their first drive of the second half. Hands ball off to Swearingen, but that's going to be nothing doing after a gain of only 1 yard on the play. And that's going to be a tackle made by the linebacker, Danny Stinson. Bring up 2nd and 9. 2nd and 9 now for Charleston from the 23-yard line. Offset I. Strong I formation for Charleston. Back to throw is Johnson. Gonna screen it out to Swearingen. Nice spin move made out there on that right-hand side, and gets a couple of extra for a nice gain of about 7 to bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, and this is man, this feels like a tough situation for Charleston. I mean, they've shown this game that they have the run game, that they have the pass game, but it's such a difficult call here.
Looks like they may run it here with an I formation coming out on 3rd and 2. Let's see if they do hand the ball off. They do hand it off to Swearingen. Nice spin move right up the middle for Swearingen. Gets around a couple of tacklers and gets the first down up to the 36-yard line.
Yeah, and just the tiniest sliver of daylight being blown open here, and we're gonna see look at all these blocks up front that just give him the space and time to find this lane here, almost continuing to go down the field there.
1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line. Another strong I formation for Swearingen. Hands the ball off again right up the middle. Tries to find. I think if he had one more block by that offensive lineman up the middle, he might have been still running.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's really been one of the big things for Charleston. You know, in addition to their ability to execute plays and how well Kentez Johnson has been performing, I think it's also, you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line.
Back to throw. Johnson once again ran out of time, but still gets it off. But that's going to get picked off by the secondary, all the way up, brought back to the 40-yard line, as that's going to be picked off by Monty Wyatt. and I believe that is going to be his second interception of the game this evening to match his 2 he had from last week.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that would be him again. And oh man, it's like we say, you know, this is one of those games where just it's a game of inches, and so this feels like such a big deal for Carolina.
Definitely looking to score on their first drive after the halftime break. Gets to hand the ball off. Oh, just shoving the defender out of the way, but still goes down after a gain of 2 yards as Suda Nakai. Oh, Suda Nakai was injured. This could be big for Carolina. Might be looking to hand the ball off more often to the fullback, or it looks like their halfback backup is Ash Ketchup. 5'11", 215 backup for Carolina. So we'll see what they do here from here on out.
Carolina going to be watching for that injury report with nervous energy, I think.
Handoff is made for a loss on the play. Looks like the fullback got the handoff that time. Mar Rivers was ready for it. So usually where they have the two-headed monster in the backfield for Tori Hanzo and Suda Nakai, well, now that Suda is out for the time being until we get that report, it's going to be all focus on the fullback, Hanzo, I believe, until he comes back in. Back to throw south, looking over the middle. That's going to get tipped away and incomplete. That's going to be a bat down by Jacob Clear the corner. It's going to bring up 4th down.
Man, and we've been talking about how Carolina really operating on sort of a rhythm here this game, and I just really feel like Sudo Nakai going down with an injury there maybe disrupted their rhythm, maybe disrupted the game plan that they had for this drive.
As the punter comes in, Malone Brown, to get this punt off, no pressure on it, and the return is made by Saren Storm up to the 19-yard line, and that's where they'll start their next drive. The SFL Minor League is about to begin. Games kick off on Friday, October 14th on SFL. It's only a week away on SFL YouTube, and it's not too late to create your player and get him or her involved in the next rookie class. Season 20's rookie draft takes place on December 17th and 18th, so don't miss your chance. The sooner you create your player, the better your player will be on draft day. For more information, visit simulationfl.net. Handoff is made to Swearingen right at the middle. What a nasty hit after that 9-yard gain. That nasty hit made by number 32, I believe, 33. Oh, Monty Wyatt in with a nasty hit.
Yeah, the little bit of a throwback to the 90s World Wrestling Federation. Hit him with a heart attack.
2nd and 1 now for Charleston. Another handoff made to Swearingen, excuse me. It's going to be a 3-yard gain. And you see the numbers there, unofficially 86 yards and 1 touchdown for Swearingen. Definitely the workhorse here in the running game. And coming into this game, he only needed 148 yards to pass Jason Williams to go into 9th all time. So he's well on his way to that. We'll see how the rest of this game goes. But well on his way to that milestone, get that, as the handoff is made once again to Swearingen for another 3-yard gain. Johnson coming out under center, this time on 2nd and 7 with a split back in the backfield. Hands the ball off once again to Swearingen. Ooh. And this time the Carolina defense was ready. A loss of 1 yard on the play, as this time Phil Hall was ready. And we haven't heard too much from Phil Hall tonight, but last week in their win over Indy, check out these stats that he's had so far on the season. 10 sacks so far on the season, which is good for 8th. 19 tackles for loss, which is good for 3rd. He's been a monster all season for this Carolina team, wreaking havoc on other teams' offenses. And that's going to be tipped up in the air and incomplete. Secondary was ready for that one, as Clint Hendershot gets the pass deflection, bringing up 4th down.
Yeah, and this is really what you were looking for out of this drive. If you are Carolina, they're gonna get this punt, and they are gonna be in a they're gonna be in great field position. Oh my goodness, Charleston punting from way back into their own zone.
Punt is away and returned from the 30. And nowhere to go on that return as he's brought down at the 33-yard line. Good job by that punt coverage team to not let him go anywhere. There's the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams. All the places you can watch live games, plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. Simulationfl.net, your home for everything SFL. They come out in empty backfield this time. Does Carolina? Matt South back to throw. Plenty of time. Running around, looking for an opening on that left hand, or over the middle, I should say. But that's going to get tipped away by Johnston Mango and incomplete.
Yeah, and that was so dangerous. I mean, just a good job by Charleston to swat that one down, but that looked like it was going yard.
Matt South gets away with one right there as that one just falls to the turf, brings it up 2nd and 10 from the 33. Heavy set formation this time with split backs in the backfield. Handing the ball off, looks like that might have been the fullback, or is that the half? No, that's the fullback. Yep, they're going to go to Hortori Hanzo as much as possible now. Still have no report on the injury to Sudokai, and Hanzo gets a gain of about 5 yards.
Yeah, you really hope that that's not a bad sign.
Three wide now on 3rd and 5, South under center. Back to throw, South looking, learns out of time, and he's going to go down for the sack. Mar Rivers comes in for the sack on the play, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, we saw previously both of these teams really having extended drives, but now both of these teams really succeeding on the bend don't break philosophy.
Yeah, a couple of 3 and outs now playing out for both of these teams' offenses as this punt by Malone Brown is off and away with no pressure. Brought up by Siren Storm to about the 27-yard line. And we'll see Charleston get their next possession going from that point right there. We talked about it from the outset here. Carolina needs this win this evening to continue their slim playoff hopes alive. They did beat Charleston earlier in the season, 30-24, but anytime these two teams meet, it's always a close game, no matter what the record is, despite Charleston being 3-8. As this handoff is made, that's not good for Sudokai. He's out for the rest of the game. Swearingen gets a gain of 5 yards up the middle.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll get a chance to play next week, but broken leg definitely not coming back this game.
3 wide with a strong eye formation for Charleston, excuse me. He hands the ball off to Swearingen, but that's going to go nowhere. A loss of 2 on the play. Clint Hendershot was back there. Looks like Siobhan Prasad also back there to get the tackle for loss. So a big 3rd and 7 now coming up for Charleston. Trying to avoid another consecutive 3 and out series. Coming out with the gun formation and 3 wide. Johnson back to throw, deep, right-hand side, open, and that's going to be a catch made over there by, looked like that was Siren Storm with a big gain up to the Carolina 35-yard line.
Yeah, and that is just a case of a receiver using their speed. I mean, he just outsped double coverage. I mean, what else do you say? But that is just a pure display of athleticism.
Yeah, Tristan Hadley was back there on the coverage, just got outran, and also Siobhan Prasad was trailing that play. His handoff was made this time to Swearingen. Swearingen gets the gain of 7 yards right up the middle to set up a 2nd and short situation. Charleston trying to extend this lead late in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 3 from the 28-yard line. Ball to Swearingen once again. Tries to break a tackle. Can't get away from the tackler, but that's not going to matter. He stretches out and gets the first down as the tackle was made by Stephen Bonnell II, the backup defensive end once again.
Yeah, and this is Charleston's chance to once again take control of this game, really create some distance between themselves and Carolina.
Swearingen now approaching 100 yards on the ground, but this time Charleston was going to throw. He had his receiver out there over the middle, but couldn't get enough air underneath that one, and it looked like that was going to be Monty Wyatt with another deflection, looking for his 3rd interception of the game, but this time just knocks it down and incomplete.
Yeah, and oh man, it's an instance of playing the ball rather than playing the receiver. He realizes he doesn't need to be up in press coverage. He can just look at it and look where it's going, and it's a dangerous situation for Charleston. You know, as much as they've been able to successfully march down the field, it's very difficult for them to break through here.
Another I formation and a handoff made to Swearingen, and a loss of yardage on that play as a 2-yard loss is made by Swearingen. A tackle made right there by Phil Hall. Another tackle for loss on his stat sheet, and that's going to give him, well, he had 20 already earlier in the game. That gives him 21 on the season. Back to throw is Johnson deep over the middle. That one-handed catch made at the 10-yard line. Darren Storm, show off a little bit for us.
I mean, it's really been a case of this Charleston team showing off their athleticism. I mean, my goodness, just jumps up across the middle like a gazelle in a nature documentary. One-handed stab. Thank you very much. I'll be taking that.
First and 10 from the 10. They can pick up a first down from about the 1-inch line, looks like. But they'll be looking to get this one in the end zone. Kentez Johnson back to throw, looking over the right-hand side. That's going to be incomplete. Looking for Dusty Rourke on that right-hand side, the tight end. He has one reception. That big one we saw in the first half that went for 57 yards to set up the 2-play scoring drive that went to Swearingen on the very next play. But since then, she's only had one other target, and it falls incomplete. Back to throw is Johnson, looking left. Over to the left-hand side. That's going to be caught, but they're going to say he's out of bounds. I thought he had that one. Davius Reed.
Yeah.
That would have been his first catch of the game, but they're going to call it incomplete as they say he was out of bounds.
I almost wonder if it's worth challenging, or if he it looks like they value their timeout more, but I think that's close enough of a call that it's worth a challenge, or at least considering a challenge.
They're going to keep that red hanky in the back pocket, does the coach, and setting up a 3rd and 10. Johnson looking right-hand side, intercepted. And that's going to get picked off by Tristan Hatley in the right corner of the end zone to take the ball and give it right back to Carolina's offense.
Well, that is the hat trick for Kentez Johnson. 3 interceptions on the day. And this is just Carolina hanging tough. I mean, that is essentially the equivalent of getting a punt and a touchback there.
Trips to the top of the screen as Carolina starts from the 20. Back to throw. Matt South looking for a reception. That was an awkward kind of catch, but a catch nonetheless. And a first down up to the 45-yard line as Sam Ablitz comes down with the reception.
Yeah, again, a bit of a Harlem Globetrotters play. Tips it up to himself just to show off. Just circus ball being played by Carolina here today.
Knocked on the top of his helmet, bounces up in the air and stays with it to catch it and run a few extra yards up to the 45-yard line. What a good job by Avalos to keep his wits about him to bring that one down.
Savannah Bananas, eat your heart out.
Absolutely. 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line for Carolina. Approaching 1 minute left here in the third quarter. Back to throw is Matt South. Looking left-hand side. Another completion. 9-yard gain to set up a 2nd and short. Vince DeSantis on the reception this time. Second and 1. From the 46. Already on Charleston's side of the field. Looking to regain the lead. Hands the ball off. And look at the space that the backup halfback has all the way up to the 31-yard line. Ash Ketchup comes in. I think that was his first carry of the game. Follows his blockers and gets a sizable gain for a 1st down.
Yeah, and that's the kind of run that Sudo Nakai was looking for all game. You know, we talk about those runs where it's just one defender in between Sudo Nakai and open space, but they do a great job opening up the outside there, and don't blink now, but they're almost in the red zone.
Moves ball off to Ash Ketchup once again. 2nd and 8 coming up after a 2-yard gain by Ash Ketchup. But I just like saying that name, Ash Ketchup. You don't really hear too lot. Yeah, it's a really good name. As we've run to the end of the third quarter here in Charleston. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Get your 4s, your 12s, your 68s, and 86s up in chat. We welcome you back here in Charleston, Carolina, with the ball, looking to regain the lead. Nice reception made at the 21-yard line. Just enough for the 1st down, as that reception is made right there by Vince DeSantis.
Yeah, and it's really been uphill sledding at times for this Carolina offense, but even still, 8 yards per attempt for Matt South. So when he's completing it, it is really creating some magical scenarios here for Carolina.
1st and 10. Hands the ball off to Ash Ketchup. Gets another gain of 2 yards on that. I'm sorry, that's the fullback. Yep, no, I was right the first time. It's Ash Ketchup. That's Eric Hammer. Welcoming him to the starting rotation with a nice hit after a 2-yard gain. Weak eye formation now on 2nd and 8. Hands ball off to Ketchup, and that's going to be a hit. Wow, this Charleston defense does not care that Ketchup is in the game, because Mar Rivers just welcomed him brutally in that backfield.
Yeah, man, nowhere for him to go there. I mean, totally blown up.
3rd and 12 from the 23. Look to the 3 wide to the top of the screen as Matt South is in the gun. Back to throw. South, plenty of time to throw. Right-hand side, jumped in the air, and that's going to get caught for the score. And that is going to be a touchdown catch made by Sam Avalos. And guess where that was to? The right-hand side of the screen for 6 points.
I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, talk about your jump balls, goes up and grabs this one seemingly out of the hands of the defender there. I mean, what a great placement by Matt South, and what a great job to go up and get it. I mean, just the sheer athleticism of both of these teams is overwhelming at times.
Whistle Jones to tack on the extra point. Snaps down, kicks up, and through with no problems whatsoever. And the score is now 20-14. Carolina does indeed retake the lead just a minute and a half into the fourth quarter. APM Music is unrivaled music, bringing your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack other simulation football league. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. As this return is made up to the 26-yard line. And Alton Charleston now has to find a way to respond to that last Carolina drive to try to get a score of their own.
Yeah, it's really a case of, you know, like we said, it was going to come down to the late game here, and now it's a case of the pendulum of momentum swinging back and forth, and really you need a stop and a score if you're Carolina. That's really the only time that I think you can even start to exhale.
This handoff is made to Swearingen. And he gets a gain of about 4 yards on the play to bring up a 2nd and 6, and that'll give Swearingen 96 yards on the day on 23 carries in the score. He has another score on receiving on the day, so that he has 2 totals and over 100 total on the day when you add in his receiving yards. Back to throw is Johnson out there in the flats to Swearingen. Spin move made, but not going to get away from the defender as he gets another gain of 2 yards on the play. Tackle made out there. I believe that was Clint Hendershot again out there in the open field.
And it's the quick response once again by Carolina that's set up this this chance at a stop. I mean, this would be so huge for them.
3rd and 4 from the 32. Back to throw is Johnson looking over the middle. That's completed for the first down. And Christopher Ochoa gets to move the chains to set up a new set of downs. And a nice catch made by him to make sure that that drive continues at the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 38. This time Johnson is back in the gun. Back to throw, looking over the middle. Then that's completed up to the 42-yard line. Another first down as that one is made by Davius Reed.
Well, this is a good job marching down the field by Charleston, and we're going to see here just another instance of the route being run to perfection, and it beats the coverage. And Charleston really are looking, they're not going to be happy with a field goal. They really are thinking touchdown all the way here.
4 wide this time for Charleston, Swearingen by himself in the backfield. Johnson under center on 1st and 10. Back to throw. Johnson, deep drop, looking, pump fake, plenty of time, looking left, and that's going to get, looked like that was going to be picked off, but it just falls to the turf incomplete. Davis and Joseph had great coverage on that side of the field, but it's just going to be a pass deflection to bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, and this has really been one of the things that Charleston have not been able to break through is this pass defense deep in Carolina's own zone. They've gotten 2 of their 3 interceptions there, and it's just so hard to pass to pass there if you're Charleston.
Charleston with the handoff to Swearingen. And that's going to be a gain of 3. And I don't think enough is talked about when you talk about Carolina's defense overall on the season, because defensively, they are 5th overall when you talk about their defensive stats, defensive scoring per game. And they're top 5 or 6 in every other category on their defense. So they are a good defensive ball club as that one is batted up in the air and incomplete. And I believe that was going to be, Tristan Hatley with a nice pass deflection to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, man, we based on what we've seen so far, that very easily could have been pulled down for a catch. But this is so important for Carolina to have gotten this stop. And they're not even in field goal range.
No, they're not. They're going to have to rely on Malone Brown to try to pin Charleston deep inside the 10-yard line. This kick is away. There was a little bit of pressure on it. It was almost blocked, but it does get bounced inside the 10. Don't go in the end zone. Oh, his foot's on the line. That's a big mental mistake made by Carolina's punt coverage team. As his foot was on the line, it's going to come out to Charleston's own 20-yard line.
Well, I mean, that's the second best possible outcome there. So, like you say, a bit of a mental misstep, but at the same time, I mean, it's so much pressure on Carolina here.
Handoff is made to the
And
backup catch up, and a gain of 2 yards on the play.
and this is such an interesting situation because normally you would mix in a lot of running plays to run down the clock, which is the situation that Carolina, I think, is in. They want to get past the 50-yard line and choose some time with this clock. But I feel like it's harder with your backup in.
Getting the ball off, getting the catch up. Oh, Charleston was ready. Charleston was so ready for that one. And Eric Hammer, we haven't called his name a whole lot, or not as much as we're used to calling him. But he does have 13 tackles tonight, so he's quietly having himself a monstrous night tonight. That is actually his 14th on the evening. As it's 3rd down and 12. It's coming up now for Carolina. Matt South to throw. Deep, right-hand side, looking for a receiver. Nice coverage and incomplete by that secondary. Looking for Sam Avlis on that right-hand side. But there was 2 defenders out there with great coverage, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is really a good case of situational awareness by Charleston. They realize that on 3rd and 12, it's going to have to be a pass. And so they do their best to just break up the coverage, or to break up the pass, rather, any way they can. And they get the stop. They're going to be in great field position here.
We're going to have to see Carolina's defense step up one more time. This punt is away without any pressure, and the fair catch called for at their own 45-yard line for Charleston. Does your team have 6 wins or more this season? Then you still have a chance to make the playoffs. What are those chances? What are the potential first-round matchups? Who will you be cheering for on the league's final day of the regular season? Join Commissioner Cameron Irvine and his Scenario Show crew Saturday night at 11:15 p.m. Eastern for a breakdown of the remaining 16 playoff scenarios live on the SFL YouTube channel. Back to throw is Johnson, screening that one out to Swearingen. Spin move, nice spin move made out there. Gets a couple extra yards and a gain of 5 yards, set up a 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, I think you said it perfectly. Carolina has to step up. The next man up mentality. Your drive didn't work out the way that you had hoped, but you have got to take this game into your hands. Every playoff scenario for Carolina starts with a win.
Ball off once again to Swearingen, and he's only going to pick up 1 yard on that play, as that tackle was made. Oh, looks like Davius Reed is down on that play.
Oh,
That could be huge for Charleston's chances.
Yeah.
Charleston's chances to come back in this ball game.
yeah, and oh man, just it looks like his knees or ankles maybe got hyperextended. That is a tough injury.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, and we'll give you any updates as we get them here in the booth. 3rd and 4 now coming up for Charleston, needing a 1st down to keep the drive alive. Now under 5 minutes to go in the game. Back throw. Johnson looking right-hand side. That's going to be completed to Aaron Storm. He's got the 1st down to the 41-yard line to move the chains.
Yeah, and a great job to recover from that incident, that injury. That you really got to keep your rhythm going when stuff like that happens.
Johnson now at 206 on the day in yards, 16 of 26. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. So having a good day in yardage. We'll have to see if that continues as the rest of this game plays out. Back to throw. And Swearingen to the right-hand side out there in the flats. Gain of about 2 yards on the play to set up 2nd and 8 after a nice upfield tackle made on that right-hand side.
Yeah, and this is really a great job on offense by Charleston. They realize that they don't have to get one explosive play. They can sort of march down the field and maybe advantageous to take some time off.
Oh, ran out of time, did Johnson, as he's going to get sacked in the backfield on that play. Looks like that is going to be Phil Hall with another sack to add to his stat sheet for the season. That's going to be his 11th for the season now. Having himself just a monster season there for that guy. As that is going to be caught over the middle by Saren Storm once again. Saren Storm coming up huge for this offense late in this ball game as he catches this one over the middle for a huge gain inside the red zone.
Yeah, and just as important as the field position and you know, getting inside the red zone is their ability to now run time off the clock. I would think that they want to run it down to at least the 2-minute warning to take away what would effectively be a 4th timeout for Carolina.
Hands the ball off again to Swearingen, trying to find a hole, but only to pick up 3 yards up the middle to set up 2nd and 7. Now approaching 3 minutes left in the game, and you said it, Alden, time becoming a factor now for Carolina. Should Charleston score a touchdown on this drive, you got to think time's going to become a factor here late in this ball game.
Yeah, it's absolutely clock management down the pipeline is what we've got to, you know, keep an eye on.
Back to throw. Johnson, quick throw over the middle. No one was there. I'm not sure who he was trying to throw that to, but Johnson got a little... get rid of that one a little bit too quickly. Looks like he might have been going to Saren Storm, but nobody was there, incomplete.
And perhaps the scariest part of that is that there was one gray jersey just sitting right there in the middle of the field. That would have been of the what would be 4 interceptions. That would have been the biggest one by far.
Back in the gun is Johnson on 3rd and 7 from the 14. Plenty of time to throw off to the left, but that's not going to be enough for the first down. Wow. As that's only going to be a gain of 3 yards on the play, as that catch was made out there by the fullback Terrell Sutherland, but the defense for Carolina stayed at home. And are they going to go for a field goal here?
Yeah, I think you have to go for it here. That's
okay. Yeah, they are going to go for it. They do have the offense on the field.
They're going to at least work the hard count if they don't actually go for it.
Well, I would say they would snap it here. Yeah, they do hand the ball off to, but they're not going to get it. They stop the running back before he could get to the first down marker. Shervon Prasad brings down Swearingen after a short gain to turn the ball over on downs to get the ball back to Carolina.
Man, and he just sneaks his way inside the pocket here. That is, oh man, and now all of a sudden, once again, you know, we talk about the pendulum of momentum swinging back and forth. All of a sudden, Carolina are the ones in the driver's seat. They can take this 2-minute warning, and with another first down, they can do some really. They can just take control of the clock here. Ooh.
Yeah, Davis Reed is out for the rest of this game. So, should Charleston get one crack at it on offense, he will be out on that drive. As we have reached the 2-minute warning here in Charleston. Carolina trying to close this one out with this next couple of plays. However, Charleston trying to get a stop. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Nate Hall and Owen Bleeker with you on the call this evening. Justin Reside and Jack Brown in the stats truck. Thank you again, gentlemen, for your stats work this evening. Much appreciated. This handoff is made to the backup, Ash Ketchup, and Ash Ketchup just has not been able to get going this evening. Outside of his first run or two, he has been bottled up, and a timeout taken by Charleston. One more of those, one more stop, and Charleston will get one more crack at it.
Yeah, and it's so this feels like one of those pivotal moments that when you look back on them as an analyst, you're like, this is where the game was won or lost.
This is going to be a throw attempt, this time by Matt Stout, deep over the middle. That's caught, and that should do it, depending on how much clock is left. But Vince DeSantis with a big catch over the middle to get the first down.
Yeah, they might need one more first down with the one timeout remaining. I'm not quite sure.
There is 1:52 left on the clock. One timeout remaining for Charleston.
Like I said early in this game, I'm not very good at math, so
we will see how it works out. Oh, you gotta think they're gonna keep it on the ground, however, to try to run as much
Yeah,
clock out
absolutely.
as possible. Handing the ball off to the halfback, catch up to the 40-yard line, call it the 41, and Charleston takes their last timeout.
Yeah, and this is a tremendously advantageous position for Carolina. I don't know if they can kneel it out here. I still think they might need one more first down.
See what they do here on 2nd and 8 from the 41-yard line. They are in victory
It is victory formation,
is
yeah.
Carolina. But the math tells me that there'll be about 20 seconds left on, 20 seconds left for Charleston to do something with it. If my math is correct, we'll see here.
Yeah, that so I do think there's some merit to what they're doing here rather than, just flailing for a first down, just go for a big deep punt and try to put Charleston in a position where they just can't get down the field without, a Hail Mary, which can easily be covered. But man, this is a bit of a tough position Carolina have put themselves in by not going for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be, let's see. Yeah, so it'll be about 28 seconds when this is snapped, so about 23, 22 seconds left when Charleston gets this ball back. We'll see where they get the ball at when they get this drive started. Seen crazier things happen in the SFL. I mean, we saw Dusty Rourke earlier in this game have a 52-yard catch, so anything's possible. As this return is brought up to the 25-yard line, and that is where Charleston will have a couple of plays left for offense. Quick reminder that the final week of the SFL regular season continues tomorrow. You can catch all the drama of the most critical games to the SFL picture at 6:30 p.m. when Vegas meets Arizona for the West Division. It's Sunday, 8:45 p.m. Eastern when Sioux Falls battles Tulsa in the Central on Next Level Sports. For a general guide and more info about Next Level Sports, visit nlse.com. They are going to go out into gun formation on 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Carolina in a dime package, but they're going to go short here. That's not going to do it. The clock's going to keep running.
They're out of timeouts.
Yeah, they're going to keep running the clock. Now under 10 seconds. Back to throw once again is Johnson. He's going to go down. That's going to do it for Charleston's chances in this one. As the final seconds tick away, and Carolina hangs on to this one, coming out with the win, 20-14. Win over Charleston. Charleston falls to 3-9 on the season. Carolina comes in, does their job to keep their slim playoff hopes alive at 6-6. They'll have to sit back and watch the rest of the weekend unfold to see how the rest of the games progress. But this game was full of highs and lows, injuries and falls,
circus
touchdowns
plays.
And circus plays, great plays all around. What was your takeaway from this one?
Well, I think you really have to look at Carolina. Going into this game, I said that they have to take their destiny into their own hands, and you can control what you can control, and the rest is going to happen how the football gods see fit. So I really think they did a fantastic job here. These the takeaways deep in their own zone that prevented Charleston from scoring, I think, were the big difference maker. I mean, this was such a close game, and that's 3 opportunities to score if and at least one of those was in the end zone. 2 of those were in Charleston's red zone. So if that had been theoretically a touchdown and a field goal, I mean, this would have been a win for Charleston. So Carolina doing what they can, doing what they have to, and they'll be watching the rest of the games this evening on the Clubhouse TV quite nervously, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Matt South had himself a great game this evening. You got to think he'll be player of the game. And it is Matt South, 15-21, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 132.8 quarterback rating. I've been Nate Hall, your play-by-play for the evening. For Alton Bleeker, your analyst, and for Justin Reside and Jack Brown in the stats truck, Cameron Irvine back in the production truck. We thank you for watching this presentation of the SFL, and stay tuned for more SFL action this weekend on all the SFL networks. Good night, everybody.